Do, 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 do. We are live. It's September 18th, 2023, and these are your Fortean Files. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Farmer Fred Smith checking in the chat, out the gate. Farmer Fred, how's my audio? Katie and I have been wondering about this since before the show started. My audio seemed a little weird. I'm asking you, Fred, how's my audio? Let me know. My audio is good. We will continue.
Right. I'm glad we can count on you, Fred.
That's right. Another week, another fun week in the world. Did you see Russell Brand?
I did not hear any of the details, but I saw the headline.
Yes, there have been some allegations made against one Russell Brand in the news. I don't know too many of the details myself. If I'm being honest, looking at this, I feel like it's a smear campaign.
Aren't they all?
I feel like this is a serious smear campaign, though. Like, that people are going after him because he's going after the truth.
He's a very outspoken person that's not afraid to, say some controversial stuff and ask some tough questions. And I would agree. The way I see him now, I'm like, I'm shocked. But then I think about who he used to be. And everybody, hey, we all change and evolve. We all grow.
Yep.
But when I think about who he used to be, then I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'm not so surprised.
Yeah.
Because I like him. But,
I don't know. I like Russell Brand too myself. Right now I don't have an opinion. Like I said, if I'm looking at it and, making a snap judgment, it looks to me like they're going after him. Like, not because there's anything to it, just because they're going after him.
Right. Yeah.
But, however, right now I have no opinion. There's not enough out there. I don't know enough for me to say anything, really.
Same here. I haven't read any of it, so I can't have
a lot of it's just coming out. I was watching some stuff that Andrew Gold, I think his name is, puts out earlier today. He's kind of flabbergasted by it all, I think, too, from my take on it. Because he's another one of those people like, I like Russell Brand. I want to continue liking Russell Brand.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's just been some fun, interesting times in America. What a world we live in.
Fun and interesting is a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. All this fun time, happy hour bullshit. It should be interesting. It's, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, when I had spoken to somebody, and that person had said to me, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but
You hear that
And
all the
there
time now.
and there's a lot of that. You know, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but and when that rhetoric is the norm, you know, you have to begin to wonder, like, what is the real story here? And I don't know what the real story is. Like with the Russell Brand thing, I don't know what the real story is.
Right.
You know, so much of the stuff that's been fed to us by the media has been
You
just
can't trust it.
propagandist bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the BBC and these American journalistic outlets are trying to go after him because of the people that line their pockets. I don't know.
Right.
It could be. That could very well be the case. But I don't know.
Right. Well, I think the fact that people saying, well, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but, and that becoming a norm is a positive shift because it means people are asking questions and people are kind of seeing through stuff, and not everyone is just buying into everything hook, line, sinker. I think that's a positive thing.
I think people should question things.
Yeah, it's
Um,
important.
I think discussion is important. I think that people doing their own research is not a bad thing either.
Right.
It used to be that you would talk to your doctor about something, and you know you'd get an opinion, and then you could question that opinion, and then go see another doctor. You know, or you didn't have to follow the doctor's advice. Now it's
Right.
like all of a sudden we're being told like there's all this bullshit. I don't know if you saw this. There was a thing where they were trying to like control what the doctors could say to patients and go after doctors for what they were saying to their patients.
I think I have seen that.
And it was struck down because of doctor patient rights.
Yeah.
It's very weird, this whole thing that's transpiring now. I like I said, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but
It does feel like we're going through a weird shift right now.
yeah, yeah, I think it's an odd, weird shift. I think the next couple of years are going to be very telling for what the direction of this here experiment, I guess,
Right. It's what it's feeling like.
is going.
Feels
You know,
very ominous.
it's a weird project, I guess.
It's like what is it, the Truman Show, that Jim Carrey movie?
Yeah, that was the Truman Show. Is that what it feels like? The Truman Show? I don't know. I don't see
I
it
don't
as the
know.
Truman Show. This is like I said, this isn't to me. This seems like the American experiment, the American project.
Right.
Uh,
Like on a bigger scale, we're all just like
what has it
being
led
fed
to?
this reality.
Well, this is what it's led to. Like, is it going to succeed? Is it going to fail? You know, my big thing is with, and always has been with it. If capitalism is so great, then stop fucking bailing shit out and let shit fail.
Right. I agree with
Because the
that.
whole idea of capitalism is that the strong will survive and the weak will fail.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, then let shit fail.
Yeah, this too big to fail shit.
Right, and that's what's happened with our banking system.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but
It's hard not to be these days.
but so we shall see where it goes. It's an interesting little animal farm we live in. That's for damn sure.
You hear a lot of people saying stuff like that, though.
I, there are too many correlations that could be made between the shit that we're seeing today and 1984 and Animal Farm.
Yep. And lots of people see it, though. And I think that's a good thing.
I hope
I don't know
so.
what to do with it, but I'm glad lots of people see it.
I hope so, and I hope that real change is a coming.
Yeah.
Because it's sad. It's really sad that I've seen some of the most awesome things happen in my lifetime, and also some of the most batshit crazy, horrible things happen in my
Right.
lifetime. That's so it's very conflicting.
Yeah.
Anywho, no more doom and gloom. We'll go on to something else that's more doom and gloom. I don't know if you heard about this week, Katie, but the Bigfoot bookstore burned. Good old Steven Stroifert's Bigfoot Books.
No.
There in where is that? Where was that located? Somewhere out there in fucking California. But yeah.
That sucks. Complete loss.
He posted on September 16th at 12:44 a.m. in his group there, the Coalition for Critical Thinking and Bigfoot Research. Well, I guess I need to mention this. The bookstore burned. I was found unconscious on the front porch, surrounded in plumes of smoke and with flames encroaching. It's very wordy. I'm lucky the CHP guy spotted me from the highway. This was a couple of weeks ago now. I lost pretty much everything and wasn't even wearing shoes when they stuck me into the ambulance. So I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. He just posted it. Alcorn had sent it to me. That it had happened. I mean, I guess from what I hear, he was out of the Bigfoot books or the bookstore business. From what Steve was saying. Farmer Fred Smith says Willow Creek. I think it's Humboldt County. But yeah, you know, I want to preface this by saying, you know, I'm glad that Steven's all right, and I'm sorry that he lost everything. He's still a know-it-all. I just want to state that for the record.
It's on the record.
I hope that he's okay. And I'm sorry that he lost everything. But he's a fucking asshole. That's just a personal opinion. Y'all can take that how you want it. I
don't know the guy at all.
I offered Steven a long time ago because him and I have had some varying degrees of disagreements, along with Matt at the time that Matt was on the show, and Steve when Alcorn was on the show. And Stroifert refused to have a constructive discussion with us about Bigfoot. He just out and out refused. Now, I never had anything against Steven. Personally. I tried to have discussions with him. And what I found as many people had told me before, was that he's a fucking asshole. So, um, I left Steven's group, the coalition bullshit, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Along with a lot of other Bigfoot groups. I got tired of the overwhelming amount of drama that was in those groups.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you found it. I was a lot more involved than you were.
I disagree with that, but
I was really behind
or
the
no,
scenes
yes,
in a lot of shit.
you were very involved. I was just like a viewer sitting back, and honestly, I would like follow specific stories, but I really only followed you guys and uh, Jeff Kelly
Yeah.
and Phil. And I watch other stuff here and there, but I tried to like just chill. I didn't necessarily like all the drama about it, and the only drama I did hear was the stuff you guys talked about for the most part.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did hear about some of it, but
There was always a strange amount of drama going on in the Bigfoot
yes.
community, and somehow they would manage to rope you into it, even if you wanted to avoid it. And then a lot of that was very self-inflicted, as far as anyone who was involved, because they allowed it to be. But you became so involved in the community that you felt kind of an ownership for it.
It seemed like all of the drama was born out of all the egos. It was very ego driven.
Oh, there was a
drama.
lot of that. There was a
Yeah.
lot of that. There was a lot of people defending people's footage.
Yes.
A lot of footage defending going on.
It was almost like it was just taken too seriously in the wrong way. Like I feel like that's the frame of the drama where it's like, yeah, we need to take this seriously. It's Bigfoot research. Let's be like try to be like scientists, but
yeah.
just took it too seriously where people were too passionate about things that really weren't hard evidence anyways.
Yeah, it's a very strange community.
Yeah.
All in all.
It's had a weird journey.
You know, I got involved in the whole thing around 2011, 2012. And I started watching videos and eventually got involved in the whole Team Taser thing on Facebook. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
Like my desire to just do something kind of was born out of that. And my interest in like strange shit, because I used to be the fucking kid that would wait all year long for like Halloween month to be able to see like on Discovery Channel the fucking
Right, all the
Bigfoot
monster
shit
shows.
and the ghost shit and the monster shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted that.
Yeah.
I was very big into horror movies and, you know, what have you. So when this came along, I dug in. And then when I saw people start doing these, you know, different podcasts, I mean, I was a fan, but at the same time I was like, you're all just spouting the same dog shit.
Yeah.
And
it was very repetitive.
And I was like, I want to do something that's more like funny and
Yeah.
interesting, like that it's more real. Like
Yeah.
that we look at it from a sensible fucking point of view instead of this. And a lot of people didn't want to curse either. They were like everybody had to be very milquetoast so that you could be palatable for everybody.
Right.
And I was like, why? And they're like,
I think
well,
that's
you're not.
probably why I latched onto you guys, is because you guys were more relaxed and casual about it, still being sensible and reasonable, but not taking yourself so seriously, and
Yeah.
you had a healthy distance from the actual drama, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I wanted to have serious discussions with people. Unfortunately, no one wanted to have serious discussions with us.
We had a few.
We had a couple along the way,
Yeah.
you know, and we did wind up getting some decent guests along the way. I mean, God love him, Richard Allen got us fucking Mick West. I got Mick West on the Fortean slip. How that
That's
fucking
right.
happened, I will never know.
That was quite the feat.
I was very grateful. I was starstruck. I was couldn't have been in like one of the worst positions of my life. I was living on a dude's couch.
Oh, God.
I did that fucking podcast from a dude's couch. I interviewed fucking Mick West from a guy's couch.
Oh, goodness. But hey, you made it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I made it happen.
Fucking Mick West.
Yeah. So I wanted like you know, serious stuff like that. I wanted to, you know, more talks with people in the community that would lead to productive discussions.
Right.
I didn't want to just bash people. When we had Claudia on, I didn't just bash her. I told, you know,
Right.
we explained why we disagreed with her and we had a discussion,
Yeah.
you know. It's been the same with any other person that we've had on, with the exception of the John Teeter guy. The John Teeter guy, I
Isn't
just
he the
let him
time travel
go.
guy? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And you did. He just was full on crazy, and y'all just let him be crazy.
I let him go. And I made a snap decision that night.
I forgot about that.
I made a snap decision because so many people were mad that I didn't go after him. You know, why are you letting him just fucking go?
I feel like that was the right choice.
But I was just like, if I try to lay into this dude, he's gonna run.
Yeah.
He's gonna X out of the fucking show. That's it.
Yeah. It
Done.
wouldn't have been. No.
So
You made the right
I
move.
made a decision to, you know, keep him on the line. I did. I basically fucking took a page from Art Bell that night and just fucking let him go.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
would
that's still fun.
and I would, you know, put in my little time travel bullshit along the way. You know, and I hoped that people would see that me making just time travel jokes while he was talking the whole time would get them to understand that I just did not buy into his shit at all.
Right. Well, I think anybody who watched your show regularly, I think, knew that
Right.
and got it.
But yeah, so these communities, like I said, they're all kinds of fucked up. Again, and I want to go back and to saying this. I hope Steven's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Stroyford. I wish him no ill will whatsoever. And I'm sorry that he lost everything. I hope he can, you know, get that all figured out there in the lovely state of California. But I thought I'd bring that up because, you know, Steve had sent it to me, and Stroyford had been for a long time. We talked about him a lot on the old show.
Yeah.
In the early days, there's been a lot of correlations between people that were on the show with him, me with him, et cetera, et cetera. So I, you know, like I said, I don't think that, you know, Steven's a bad guy. All in all, just an asshole. What in the hell
Sorry.
was that?
That was me. My apologies.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, I thought I excuse me. My throat tonight. I thought I'd at least bring that up because Alcorn had sent it to me, and like I said, he for a long time now, and not recently, but over the course of the years, and I've been doing this show now or a show of some sort now for 10
Right.
years.
The community's gone through quite a journey in that time.
Yeah, no shit. But anywho, after that, on to our real first story of the evening. Let's see. Oh, let's go with this one, Katie. From Reuters.com, Mexican Congress holds hearing on UFOs featuring purported alien bodies. Mexican lawmakers heard testimony that we are not alone in the universe and saw the alleged remains of non-human beings in an extraordinary hearing marking the Latin American country's first congressional event on UFOs. In the hearing on Tuesday on FANI, the Spanish acronym for what are usually now termed unidentified anomalous phenomena, politicians was shown two artifacts that Mexican journalist and longtime UFO enthusiast Jamie Maussan, I don't know how to pronounce that, claimed were the corpses of extraterrestrials. The specimens were not related to any life on Earth, Maussan said. The two tiny bodies displayed in cases have 3 fingers on each hand and elongated heads. Maussan said they were recovered in Peru near the ancient Nazca lines in 2017. He said that they were about 1,000 years old, analyzed through a carbon dating process by Mexico's National Autonomous University. Similar such finds in the past have turned out to be the remains of mummified children. Maussan said it was the first time such evidence had been presented. I think there's a clear demonstration that we are dealing with non-human specimens that are not related to any other species in our world, and that all possibilities are open for any scientific institution to investigate it. We are not alone, he added. Have you seen these things?
I've seen them. Yes.
Yeah. Have you though? Have you seen this? I mean,
I think it looks like a really great art project.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other pictures here. I think that's the only one they're showing. Just that one.
I didn't dig too deep, but I read a little bit, and I don't know. I rolled my eyes at it.
That is little.
Yeah, it's real little. I just no.
No?
No.
Going with no?
Yeah. Plus, I saw the one thing I did read said that it's been like X-rayed or imaged or whatever, and there's no bones. So,
yeah,
you know.
Hey, I mean, what my opinion is currently open, but I think it's bullshit.
Okay. Sure, I could go with that too, I guess.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe I'm a little less open.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
It looks like it was really carefully crafted.
Paper mache?
I was thinking more clay, but
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I'm no artiste, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. This stuff is like a dime a dozen nowadays. You know what I mean?
And you know how I am with the whole alien thing anyways. Like, I'm much less inclined to be positive about an alien story than I am about anything else. So.
Yeah. Well. You never know, Katie. You never fucking know. And them geese are out tonight.
Yeah,
Them
it's
geese.
migration time, Chris.
Yeah, it is. From our next story of the evening, from themirror.co.uk. Loch Ness Monster spotted by Nessie hunter as 3 odd shapes appear in lake. Loch Ness hunter Fiona Wade claims she saw Nessie in the morning of August 31st, just days after another reported sighting of the beast near Invermoriston in Scotland. A Nessie hunter has claimed to have spotted the Loch Ness Monster for the 6th time this year, as several sleuths decided to visit Scotland in a bid to track down the monster. Fiona Wade said she saw Nessie in Loch Ness at 10:45 a.m. on August 31st. She claimed the sighting, which had been logged in the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register, lasted between 30 and 40 seconds. The hunter claimed the shape was like nothing I have seen before. As she added, I can only describe it as Nessie, as I can't think of any logical thing it could have been. Miss Wade claimed to have seen Nessie just days after civil servant Alistair Gray said he saw 3 odd and seemingly connected shapes near Invermoriston. The woman said she was not aware of Mr. Gray's sighting when she believed she spotted Nessie, and added that it was probably in a very similar location. Describing what she saw at Loch Ness, she said, it initially looked like a periscope, but then 2 curved areas followed. It was moving and about halfway out in the loch, looking roughly over to midway between Foyers and Whitebridge. She said, I've seen deer crossing before, but this was nothing like nothing I have seen before, and I can only describe it as Nessie, as I can't think of any logical thing it could have been. It was large enough to catch my eye, and it appeared to leave a slight wake behind it. Well, I guess it must be Nessie then.
Well, it is interesting that there may have been 2 people that saw the same thing, but that doesn't make it Nessie.
Yeah. And they were at different times. It wasn't the same day. Same time.
Oh.
It was 2 different instances that they were talking about there. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it was Nessie or not. The Nessie thing, I don't know. I'm more of the school that Nessie is a misidentified thing.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because how hard it is to identify things out in the water, especially a large body of water.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that really trick the eye, and something really insignificant can look much bigger than it is, and vice versa. It's really tricky. So
Yeah.
as much as I
agree.
enjoy the idea and I love the idea of the possibility, I do have a hard time with the sightings when I do think of like, yeah, who's this lady? Does she have like good critical thinking skills where she could think of different things that it might be?
Well, she's seen Nessie 6 times this year.
6 times.
6 times.
Sure, she has.
Yeah, 6 times.
Why hasn't she caught him yet?
I don't know. Anywho.
No pictures of any of the 6 sightings?
There's no picture of this one.
That's sus. If I was out looking enough to see it 6 times, you'd bet your ass by that 3rd time minimum, I'd have my camera out.
I'd have a picture?
Yes.
Anywho, our next story of the evening from thedailystar.co.uk. Bigfoot lives as huge footprints with 5-foot stride found that can't be from human. Bigfoot believers reckon some huge footprints found close to a reservoir might finally provide evidence that the elusive beast is real. Images of the footprints were shared to the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot Photos, Videos, and Sightings group on Facebook by a woman named Crystal. Crystal explained they were found by her husband and his friends who were fishing in the northwest of the U.S., up in the mountains. She explained they said there were 4 footprints with a longer stride than either of the 2 grown men could possibly have, that came out of the water and disappeared into the forest. She shared 3 images of a footprint pressed deep into some mud. In one image, one of the men has placed his hand next to the footprint. The print dwarfs it in size. Explaining further in the comment section, Crystal said the footprints appeared spaced roughly 4.5 feet to 5 feet apart. Here, I'm just going to show you the fucking pictures, Katie. Because I think that's easier. At this point. Share. Is that one? That's the one that the hand's next to.
Because there's water in them, they look very shoe-shaped. Very shoe-shaped in the way erosion and water works. It's going to inflate it and make it bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So it does kind of look like an old, worn shoe print.
Yeah, kind of. I would tend to agree with you there. However, they did have a 5-foot stride, Katie. 5-foot stride.
That is pretty impressive.
That is an impressive stride.
I'd be interested to drain the water out of those, I suppose.
Yeah. You know, that type of stuff. Like I said, it's interesting. I don't, you know, like the stuff that we're gonna look at some stuff later on tonight that is interesting in and of itself, but is more interesting when viewed in comparison to other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So this in and of itself is interesting, but there are many explanations. You know, I don't immediately go Bigfoot.
No, I don't either.
You know, and I'd love to be able to immediately go Bigfoot with a lot of this shit. I'd love to be able to say, hey, there's a Bigfoot. But I just can't make that stretch with a lot of this stuff. There's very little stuff that I've seen out there where I can go, ooh.
Yeah.
This sparks my interest. You know, this isn't one of them.
No.
So, if I'm being honest, you know, our next story of the evening, Katie. Let's see if I can find this bad boy. Our title story of the evening, from the KoreaHerald.com. If I could fucking talk tonight. Mystery creature video in Mount Baekdu. Probably fucked that all up. Crater Lake reignites old myth. And I'll read some of this here because it kind of gives you a background on it, but there is a video. A viral post on Chinese social media of what the poster claimed to be a mysterious animal swimming in the crater lake of Baekdu Mountain. I probably fucked that all up. On the China-North Korea border has reignited interest in a mythical creature in the lake. Chinese news outlets reported on Monday. The video captured from an observation deck situated 500 meters above the lake shows a dark object traversing the water's surface. The still surface of the lake is perturbed by the object seen gliding beneath, which leaves a trail of waves and ripples along its path. Staff at the national park responded to local news sources saying that it was impossible to determine what the object was due to the video's poor quality. The staff suggested it might be a certain feline species living in the mountain ranges spotted swimming in the river. The incident is not the first time a mysterious creature has been allegedly spotted in the lake. Since the first reported sighting in 1962, dozens of people so far have claimed to have witnessed the so-called Heavenly Lake monster, evoking comparisons to Scotland's infamous Loch Ness monster. Most recently in 2020, a staff member at the lake reported seeing a 2-meter-long object swimming around, according to local news reports. And I'm going to show you the video, Katie, so that you can see this thing.
Chinese Nessie.
Yes. There's not very much there.
God.
That's the lake. And then it zooms in on it. I don't know what to make of it.
That could be absolutely anything.
It's very, very grainy. There's definitely something in the water.
Yes.
We can go with that. I don't even know if Phil Poling could break this down. That looks like a video if you could see a video on a printed newspaper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could literally be anything, and even the scale is a little bit hard to
Yeah, the
put into
quality
perspective.
is so shit.
Well, and there's nothing else even in the water to even kind of put it into comparison for the mountains around it of like, is that thing a little thing? Is it a big thing? It's clearly
Right.
something out of the water significantly. And it's going pretty fast based on the wake behind it. That's actually a
Yeah.
pretty significant wake, even in calm water.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to make of it.
Almost looks like a hobby or remote control boat or something, like a drone boat.
Like an RC boat?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Could be. Could be something of that nature. I don't know. I found it. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting. It's a beautiful place too. It looks like a
Yeah, it looks
gorgeous place to
majestic.
go. Yeah.
Oh, God, majestic.
Can you swim in there? It looks like beautiful swimming.
Oh. Well, I don't know if I'd want to with that thing.
Let's
That's a
go
creature.
looking for it.
It's a fucking creature. It's a creature, Katie.
It's pretty cool.
Scary creature. All right. We will take our little break. For the evening, we will leave you with a little night driving for your listening pleasure. When we come back, we are going to delve into two separate thermal videos. It is the 10th anniversary of the breakdown or comparison video of the Baekdu footage, which was taken at the Sierra Kills Camp, I think is what people are referring to it as. And we're also going to look at the Grays Harbor thermal footage. Now, I have been to both of these locations. So I have at least a little bit of insight into the areas, the people in play. So we're gonna take a look at this. I thought it would be a good idea because, like I said, it's been 10 years since the comparison videos that Baekdu did to compare with his thermal footage that was taken up at the camp. So we'll leave you with a little night driving, and we will be back momentarily to delve into those two videos. See ya. Good old night driving. Almost don't even want to turn it off.
I know, it's so good. I leave it on in my office at work all the time. I'm
Yeah.
up doing stuff, in and out. It's on like elevator music. It's great.
Oh. Some good shit.
Yeah.
Alright. I actually have to find these fucking things tonight. Because, of course I didn't, search them out like I should have.
You've got the links to Phil's videos in our chat.
I do have the links to Phil's videos, but I wanted to put up the original ones that were put up. Which shows the original ones. Are they still? Can you still see them? Yes. Alright, so this is the original. Oh, I gotta put it up. I gotta add it. God damn it. So this is we'll do the Grays Harbor first. The more recent of the two.
I actually remember this video better than I remember the other one, believe it or not.
Yeah?
And I think it's because I could see it better.
And this was filmed October 30th, 2013. Now, what you're seeing here, I've been there, is in their backyard. And whatever is there is standing behind. It's like a drop off that goes down into the back field.
It's like a ledge right there.
Right, it drops off. Like right where you see it, that line that cuts across what would be, if it was a bipedal creature, its midsection. That's where it drops off down towards the field. Now, some people have said that this is a cow or cows laying down in the field. I don't necessarily think so. You do see a cow walk through right here.
Yeah, and the important or the poignant context for me that Phil pointed out in his video was that these guys taking this had borrowed their FLIR, never used one before, and had zero experience. And
Right.
that's why the focus on the unknown thing is so crappy. And then that cow pops in looking pretty good
Right.
because they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
To me, that gave some more like, oh, okay, that explains the blob squatchiness of it,
Right.
the lack of detail.
But I mean, it definitely looks like, to me, it looks like a figure with a head.
Yes.
Although as the cow's like coming through now, it kind of gets distorted.
Yes, it does.
So, and the breakdown is definitely good.
Yeah.
There's obvious comparisons that were made. I believe it's Derek Randall's wife that stands in the spot. The same spot. And there might have been somebody else that stood in that spot. But they didn't even come close to the proportions of whatever was there.
No.
Like,
and they did do a good job of measuring everything out and
Right.
figuring out that stick was obstructing that's what was making it look like there was a break in the heat image because there was a like dead tree
And
branch sticking out.
they had initially gotten the angle wrong.
Right, in the first breakdown, and then they redid it better.
Right. Yeah. So that it was correct.
Yeah.
You know, and this spot is very interesting. That's what I will say. I've
Yeah.
been there. I didn't see anything. I didn't experience anything while I was there. But I will say that this thermal is very, very fucking interesting. I'm not saying it's definitive proof of anything, but it's pretty fucking interesting.
It's very interesting, especially given all the context. How densely populated, like how far away was the next house?
It's closer than they make it out to be, in my opinion. However, what's behind their house goes on.
Yeah.
I walked out there. It's empty.
Yeah.
But are there houses on their road? Yeah. And you can get to them walking.
Yeah.
Like, they're not that far. But behind their house,
Yeah. It's a bunch of nothing.
fucking vacant. Vacant. You know, it's probably one of the more interesting places that I have seen in my travels. And with the information that I know about the location, some of which I can talk about and some I can't. Well, I could at this point, but I won't.
Sure.
You know, I'm not gonna say anything out of turn, so to speak. But just based on the thermal alone, it's fucking very interesting. I don't think it's a cow or cows. I think it's
The cows
more.
laying in the field behind it seems a tad possible to me. And I know Phil investigated and found fences or whatever and said that like that's where the cows are fenced off from. And that mostly like satisfies it for me, but there's still a tiny little bit of me that says it might be cows laying in the field. But it's small. It's small.
Could be.
But overall, I agree. It is extremely intriguing. And especially once I saw the stick. The stick is what did it for me too. Of once I saw the comparisons and figured out that, okay, that's a concrete permanent object in the image.
Mm-hmm.
It did actually help a lot.
Yeah, and when I was there, we did a recreation with I believe it was Jonathan in the Bigfoot costume.
Right, in a suit.
Doug Hudson had brought out his suit that has been used in like different shit. He's like a fucking guy out in California. And the only thing that we could see on the thermal was the eyes, and he wasn't wearing the gloves. And you could see his hands. Everything else, you couldn't see.
Yeah.
It didn't show up. It didn't light up, I should say.
Because it wasn't warm.
Right.
Like a body.
Right. So if it was somebody in a suit, I mean, that was what they were trying to debunk in that whole idea. And it was just a little extra bullshit, you know, along with Phil's whole video that he did.
Yeah.
Excuse me, putting everything together. But there was a lot of other interesting factors that I wish I could talk about. And that's what makes me scratch my head on this one. I don't know.
Right.
I wish I had a definitive answer. I wish I had more information from the site. I wish that they had not stopped communicating with everybody.
I was just going to ask you, they're the ones that aren't really in it anymore, right?
They just up and shut down and stopped communicating with people.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to go into it.
Sure.
But what I do know is that fucking video is very interesting. And I wish we had gotten a chance to see more out of that location. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's a good one.
I spent 2 nights up there, over on the Olympic Peninsula, at that location, and did a lot of walking around, saw a lot of that land. I wish we had seen more out of there. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say anymore on that.
Yeah.
But that thermal is pretty fucking interesting. And it's
definitely a living, warm thing. Yeah.
Thing. Something.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. So yeah, now we'll take a look at. Let me see if I can find this fucking thing. This one should be fun. I think I will probably have to use Phil's. Let's see. Continuous action clips. I just want the video. Study Sasquatch. This is a compilation of the best clips from Barcatino's August 2012 thermal video. Well, let's look at this one. I'll give you guys an idea. Anyway. Share screen. Share. So, this was taken from up on the road. The camp is actually, if you're looking at this video on the screen, the camp was further in and to the left from where these subjects are located. And I'm going to be honest. There is not fucking much to this video.
No.
The important thing about this video is the comparison within which Barcatino makes by going back up there and putting people in the locations.
Trying to recreate it.
So that you can see the comparison shots. And that's what makes this video, I think, personally.
Yeah, standing alone, it's hard.
There's not much to it.
Yeah.
So, here's the video. You guys can take a look at it, see what you think. There's a couple of subjects here. So there's one here and one here right now. I believe there's another one somewhere. Or is that just the one that stays stationary?
And yeah, that's the other one is the one that moves. It just went to the right. Yep, it moved clearly to the right. And now so hard. Oh, see, there it is again.
Yeah. And in one of the shots, you can actually see it like step through.
Yeah, I think right there. It's so phantom.
Yeah, it's sitting there. It's kind of like sitting there off to the side. But there's like 3 subjects there
Yeah.
in all. Yeah, there it is again. And at one point, like something's thrown. Yeah, then it just kind of stepped through. Another one went through. See, I don't know how much of the footage he's got here.
I know it's because it's thermal, but they just look so ghosty.
Yeah. And I don't know if Phil's video is any better. It's probably not.
No, it's not. He does also point out something about the like settings that they also weren't on the most optimal settings.
Yeah, the camera was not set the way that it fucking should have been.
Right. Which it just makes this so hard to look at and discern anything.
Because here's the thing, if it had been, this would be a much better video.
Yeah.
You know, not perfect.
Well, and especially because there is a lot of other context too. You know, the audio that was released of them when they went back to camp and were talking about it was very believable and legitimate. It didn't seem like a contrived conversation by any means. There is a lot of good context to go with this video, and that's the only thing that helps, because it all by itself makes me go cross-eyed, and like I can't I can't say biological creature walking through the woods until you add in all the context.
Right. Yeah,
the rock throwing was the only other thing that actually didn't help, in my opinion.
And they said about the rock that they had to really warm it up
For like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and when I spoke to Bart at one point, I had posited to him that it was shit. That they shit.
For how far away they were, would shit really have been picked up on that?
As warm, yeah. If it just came out of their ass, then yeah.
I was thinking bird. I did not think shit. That's actually a very intriguing idea.
Chimpanzees and other apes are known to throw their shit.
Yeah.
So, if they were upset that something was in their area, it's very possible.
That's interesting. Okay.
I posited that years ago.
Right. My mind didn't go there, but that's smart.
That was the only thing that I could think of, because I was like, why would they warm up a rock that much?
Right. I mean, unless they had been sitting on that rock, but they clearly weren't. Whatever this was standing. So, and I thought it was interesting too. This went on for like an hour.
It went on for a while. I don't know if it was an hour.
I feel like in Phil's video, he mentioned a very long period of time.
Yeah. It's interesting that when you compare it to the comparison video that Bart put out where he put Kip in the different spots, and you could compare between the two, there was something definitely large walking around out there that was all lit up. Now here's the thing. When they took thermal of Kip in his clothes, his entire body didn't light up.
Right.
Whatever these things were naked. Out in the woods, in complete darkness, walking around.
It did seem weird to me, though, that they didn't do the recreation in the same shitty setting.
With Kip naked?
Well, no.
I don't know if he'd agree to that.
In the same shitty setting of the camera, the thermal camera. It seemed like it was in a much more optimal setting of like, yeah, I can tell that's a dude standing there.
Right.
Whereas the first one was just this like paranormal floating light, you know?
Yeah.
With no definition. And the recreation did have definition, which helped your mind put the other video in context, but it still makes me wonder, okay, what would that image have looked like in that setting that they were using? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those fucking woulda, shoulda, couldas. You know, what if?
Right.
Like, we'll never know because it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Well, the audio of the sounds is interesting too. I will give it that. There were some weird voices, sounds. Wasn't that with this video of the same property over different days?
No.
Was that the other video?
I don't know.
The Grays Harbor one. Did it have some audio with it?
I can't remember.
One of them had some very interesting audio with it. I think it was the first one.
I don't remember. But yeah, I also have you know, an outlook on the people that were there too.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, I think that a lot of the people that were there were very motivated to have positive things about that location come out. Now, I'm not saying that it was fabricated. I'm not saying that at all. Because I literally just stated that whatever was out there was naked in the middle of the fucking woods at night.
Right.
In complete darkness. Which is kind of crazy. But if I look at the people that were involved, I think it's suspect. And I'm not saying Bart Catino. I think Bart has a real passion to want to do good things. It's the other people that were up there.
So knowing those people, you know, I mentioned that audio of when they came back to camp sounded like a legitimate conversation. Do you agree knowing those people or disagree?
I look at every single one of those people besides Bart. And that's not me kissing Bart's ass because I have issues with Bart. I see them as opportunists. And I don't know that any of it was genuine. Or if it was just to feed into it.
Right.
I don't know anymore. Like I said, I've been to that location. I've seen that location. There's a lot of bears. I can tell you that. Lot of bears. Black bears are known to walk on two legs.
A lot.
And multiple bears are known to go through that area. I have heard stories where Justin Smeha, the individual who supposedly shot a Bigfoot up there, fall asleep at that camp, was woken up by a bear fucking sniffing his foot and kicked the thing in the face to get it to get away from him.
Yikes.
You know, that's how prevalent the bears are up there.
Are they black bears or?
Yes.
No.
Not brown bears, black bears. They're very cinnamon colored.
Yeah.
Black bears in California are more cinnamon colored than they are black.
Yeah.
But they are known to walk on two legs.
Quite a bit. They get around very
Quite
nimbly.
well.
Yeah.
So
Very nimbly bimbly.
I don't know, and I'm not saying that that's the explanation. I'm just saying there's a lot of factors to look at when this video is concerned. For one, you know, people will say, well, black bears don't travel that far on, you know, they don't walk all around. Well, whatever's in this video isn't traveling very far.
No. They're staying in one spot for quite an extended period of time.
Right. So I don't know. I'm not saying that that's the explanation. I'm just saying maybe we should look at some other explanations for this video. When I drove up into this area, there was a bear. There's video of it on my personal channel, where I posited whether or not it was a brown bear, because the person who I was with thought the same thing, and she lived there her whole life.
Yeah.
She was like, that was really big.
Yeah.
So there's bears there that get really big.
Yeah, they do get larger than they get credit for sometimes.
Yeah. So again, I don't know. I know that there was a lot of talk about like UFO type stuff up there, but they wanted to keep it quiet because they didn't want that involved with the Bigfoot shit, supposedly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to the Sierra thermal footage, I think it's really interesting, but I have a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And I don't think any of those questions are going to get answered.
No.
The first thing I would like to see done in relation to the Sierra footage is to have everyone that was there polygraphed.
That would be interesting.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Right on down
even the
line.
guy snoring.
Especially the guy snoring.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking, because he's been polygraphed once before.
I said it for a reason, because it's the obvious. I mean,
yeah. So that I would, if everyone that was there was willing to do that, and they all come back showing no deception, then I would be way more on board.
Yeah.
With the Sierra thermal footage. Just because it's so, like you were saying, it's very ghost-like, what is there to it?
I honestly, the video by itself, independently, I don't find interesting.
Right.
It's
Even
not
Phil says that.
it's nothing to me. But I'm a person, I don't know anything about thermal. I don't have experience looking at thermal shit. So like, yeah, my eyes, I can't compute it. So it means nothing to me. And then when you add in all the extra context and recreations, and it both helps and hurts. You know what I mean?
Right.
It
I get
helps
what
make
you're
it more
saying.
interesting, certainly,
Mm-hmm.
but it raises a lot more questions along with the questions it didn't answer. So
Right.
it's complicated. I will say I definitely like the Grays Harbor footage better,
Oh yeah.
a lot better.
It's more, even though they fucked up on their settings too, the image is way more defined.
It helps to know that. Granted, it seems like everything has that factor to it. Well, it's not in
Yeah, it's fucking
focus, and
yeah. Well, that's just the fucking way it is with
I
Sasquatch.
know.
Everything's
Except
got
for
to be out of
Patty. Patty's the
focus.
only one in focus, man.
Well,
That's
you
why I like
know,
it.
maybe it was staged.
It might have been.
I don't know. You know,
9-year-old
I
me would like to think it wasn't.
listen. The Patterson Gimlin footage scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
It didn't scare me, but
Scared
it fascinated me.
the shit out of me. They put it on this TV show that was on Sunday afternoons, and it was like documentary style, but boom, like very ominous.
Yeah.
Like everything was very fucking super ominous. And when I saw this video, I about shit. You know, I lived in a very rural town out in the middle of the fucking woods. Like, I lived at the end of a road. My house sat in the fucking woods.
Right. So that was much more relevant to your living.
And when I saw this thing, I was like, there's a Bigfoot in my fucking backyard. Like, I fucking was for sure, like, sure that something was out there. Because I saw this thing on TV.
Yeah.
And as the years have gone by and I've looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and heard people debate about it, I have questions.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know that could be a person in a suit. I don't know. I know that it's been claimed that it is.
Right.
I know that someone has come forward and claimed that he is the person in the suit. However, I have questions.
So many.
At this point, I don't immediately say that the Patterson Gimlin footage is a Bigfoot. You know,
Yeah.
could it be? Absolutely. Could it not be? Absolutely.
Do I want it to be? Absolutely.
Absolutely. But if there's a video out there that I think is better, it's the Freeman footage. And a lot of people take issue with that because of Paul Freeman's background and the things that happened with him. But when I look at that footage, I'm like, hot damn.
That's another
good.
one that's very similar to the Grays Harbor, where it's like a crouched thermal footage, isn't it?
No.
I need to
Freeman
refresh my memory.
Here, we'll look at it.
Are
Hold
you
on.
getting it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll find it. Freeman footage.
Is it the one with the trees?
He's
A path and the trees?
He's out walking.
Isn't it kind of green?
He's out walking. Yeah, here it is right here. Share this one with y'all. The Freeman footage. Share.
I'm so rusty on all this stuff. It's been so long.
Yeah. Claim to have discovered Bigfoot track showing dermal ridges. Yeah, Yeah, the beginning of the video shows like some fucking prints. I don't give a shit about that. I want the actual footage.
Run around up there to his mommy, I guess.
Okay, this was not the footage I was thinking of,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I do
gonna
remember this.
mix up some plaster here and pour these. Now I got my cast made. And 4 little tracks here.
It's further up in the video. It's up like here.
Can't see much up through here.
Yeah.
I hear the brush popping and stuff. Oh, there he goes.
Jesus!
Get up here where I can see him real quick. Get up here. Get a better picture. I wonder where the doggone thing went. It crossed that up there. Yeah. I just wonder. It should be right here somewhere.
I gotta give him credit for going after it.
That's a little sus to me.
Oh, God. There's 2 of them, I guess. Man. Oh. I wonder where they went.
There's one that said it was the best quality. So, hold on a second. Let me go back. Freeman footage stabilized. Yeah, let's look at the stabilized. Let's look at it.
I feel like back in the day, I did not believe this one, maybe. I think I found him narrating what he was doing.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, I said, oh, there he goes.
Jesus. Get up here.
Yeah, I definitely like that footage. You know, that's the footage that I'm like, yes, it's not as crystal clear as the Patterson Gimlin footage is. However, I like what I see. Everything I see looks natural. From the way the thing looks at him, there's a spot in the video where it looks towards him and then it looks back and continues on. And it looks very natural. The way
it does appear to be looking at the ground where it's going to.
Right, and the movement of the head is just as natural as the movements of the body. So, I mean, people can say what they want about it, but I really like that footage. And this is coming from a guy that at this point is like, I don't know if Bigfoot even exists.
Right.
You know, but that footage I like.
To me, it's a little bit weird that he's casting footprints and then sees it again.
Well, here's the thing. It could have been made by the thing that was just there.
Right.
So, I mean, again, yes, Is he suspect? Yes. That
And you don't know
that
him,
much is
right?
our. What's that?
You don't know him. You never met him, right?
I've never fucking
Yeah.
Paul Freeman. That's
Okay.
forever ago.
Yeah. Well, you met some people, you know.
Yeah, but I think he's dead now.
Oh,
But I would have loved to have met him. To talk to him about this. Absolutely.
I feel like knowing him personally would make a big difference because the red flags to me a little bit are his behavior.
Right.
And that's not to say, I mean, everybody acts differently when they're surprised, when they're scared, when they're nervous, whatever.
When he says, "Oh Jesus," I've heard that in my life so much with the people I grew up with. Just the way he said it, too.
Right.
Like, when they were in shock. "Oh, Jesus!" I've heard that 1,000 times, if I've heard it, you know.
Yeah, but he said oh, there it goes first.
Yes, he did.
And I didn't buy that one quite as much.
Yeah.
And I also
I
kind of
mean-
thought he really wasn't that far away from it for how loud he was talking. And I feel like you're either going to be trying to be quiet. The camera's getting it. I don't need to narrate this.
if you're that close, I mean,
Or you're
What's
going to
it
holler
matter?
at it.
what's it fucking matter?
Did
You
he have
know?
a gun on him? Do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, most
I
people who
really
hang out in
don't.
the woods have a gun on them. But
I never did. I never carried.
if I was going somewhere not in Indiana in the woods, I would carry. But Indiana don't got nothing scary. I don't need a gun. Other than people. I would need it for people.
I don't know.
It's another interesting one for sure.
Yeah. Like I said,
I kind of forgot about that one.
There's very few things out there in the Bigfoot world
So
that I can
few.
look at and go, this makes me still want to have answers.
Yeah.
The Freeman footage is one. The Grays Harbor
Yeah, that's good.
footage. And, you know, the Patterson Gimlin footage still does. It's just
Yeah.
not to the same extent.
It's just so aged and worn out at this point.
I wish I could want to know more about Bart's footage. I do, actually. You know, I would be very interested to see if the people that were there that night would be willing to all submit to polygraph examinations.
I question
And what
it's
those
been so
results
long.
would be.
I'd say how accurate can results be that far out? Is it still the same?
If they're being deceptive,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess.
just got to ask the right questions.
People can convince themselves of a lie pretty well, especially
can.
for a period of time,
Yeah,
though.
that's true. But I'd still be interested.
Yeah.
Still be very interested. You know, I think a lot, like I said, a lot of that was done, I believe, for a purpose. So that, in and of that whole thing to me, because of that, is suspect.
Yeah. I
There
like
was
the context of that one a lot less than some of the others.
Yeah. And that's the only reason why is that the players involved. You know, I don't.
That's true for a lot of them, unfortunately, though.
Yeah, it's too bad. You know, it's like we were talking about before, like the Sierra hunting camp there, where the Sierra sounds came from.
Yeah.
If everybody's so convinced that something's up there, why hasn't a huge expedition been launched to go up there?
Right. Why hasn't
Why?
somebody saved and got some support to like go spend a whole year?
Right. A team of people, you know, go up there, like, and really do some fucking research. if that is the definitive spot, then why hasn't that happened?
Yeah, the only defense I can say
You know
why that
why?
hasn't happened is money, but
Because we kept it secret. It had to
Right.
be kept secret.
yeah.
Yeah, bullshit. That's where I start calling bullshit. If it's important to get this information out there, then why is it secret?
They should at least be willing to give the location to people who are trust. I get not wanting to give it to the public when it was a hot topic so that it doesn't come get trampled, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know, like, legitimate people in the community who are going to come in and show the site respect, you don't gatekeep that.
Yeah, it's very it's a sore spot for me.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these locations are public land.
Yeah, like Patty.
For one.
That place super public known. It's changed. It don't look the same anymore, but
Right. You know, the Sierra Kill site is public land.
right.
Um,
Well, they were a little gatekeepy for that too, weren't they? Though.
yes, they were.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I will defend Bart on that one. Like, I don't think that Bart had any malintent on that.
But he wasn't the only one there. So.
But he wasn't the only one there.
And it was a planned trip.
It was a planned trip. And people will say that nobody lives on that up there, but somebody does. For the record. So, that, like I said, that one is a lot more suspect to me. The Grays Harbor thermal footage, while those people have up and disappeared out of the Bigfoot community and don't want anything to do with it anymore, I'm still more heavily interested in that
Yeah.
out of the two.
It's very interesting. I like that one a
And
lot.
those are the two big ones that came out while I was in it.
I feel like the Grays Harbor footage didn't get quite as much attention. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that was just my own perspective, but
it did for a little while. You know, we definitely did shows on it back in the day. And I had gone out there, so I definitely went over it when I got back.
maybe there was just more drama surrounding the other one.
Could have been.
Plus, this is also a decade ago, and my memory for this sort of thing isn't fantastic. So,
Well, I don't know. It's been a while too.
it's been a real long time.
I mean,
Decade.
that the Barcatino footage was filmed in 2012 and came out in 2013, I believe. And then the breakdown and everything was done later on in 2013. So that's why it's been 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I was a whole different person then. So,
Yeah.
my memory, and especially I didn't live in it like you did. I really was just a person listening to videos while I was doing other stuff, so it's not nearly as concrete in my mind as it is yours.
I got super involved because I had gotten sober at the time.
Yeah, and it was something you could cling on to.
Well, I quit my job and was sitting home because I thought that by quitting my job, I was eliminating my path to it, which did work, but wasn't ideal.
Right.
But I was sitting home and I spent a lot of time like watching like YouTube videos and following shit about this stuff, and that's how I came across it all. And then once I was in, oof.
Right.
Oh, I was all in.
Well, I'm glad you got in. That's cool.
I mean, in some ways I am, in other ways I'm not. I mean, I don't regret any of it really. Like any of the the path here, like all doing the other show and with the guys. You know, it was fun. It was a good time. I go back and think about it now, and it's nostalgic.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, we did some crazy shit. Um, and then you know how that show evolved and where it went to, and now this that you know
Right.
we started, which is you know I'd stopped doing the other show for a while and then decided to start this back up. But it's a fucking journey.
Well, it's super cool to me because you guys really were one of the first YouTube channels I really like followed. That was when I had mostly just been using YouTube for music, but then I kind of discovered this like whole other side to it, and like you really were kind of like my OG podcast that I followed every week. I had Bigfoot Day at work. I think it was Tuesdays, and I would like catch up on all my Bigfoot stuff, and it was like, oh, Bigfoot Day.
Yeah, yeah, I started doing that out in California. It was the first episodes were done out in California. And then I came back home, and I wound up eventually getting a decent mic cuz I remember I originally did it with a headset mic.
Yeah, like
It was
with the
and it had the thing that
yeah.
came down, and it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I tried it with a lapel mic for a while. I think there was a bunch of different shit that I tried to try to get better sound because it was
Right.
so bad. And then eventually I got the actual decent microphone, went out and bought a Yeti, which isn't like top of the line or anything, but it's decent quality.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, it's been a fucking journey, all in all. And it all started with the fucking big fella. With the big fella. So.
The big fella.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I don't have an opinion on it anymore. You know, I don't want people to think that I'm rah Bigfoot. I'm not.
Oh,
You know,
that
I look
big
at
fella.
yeah.
I'm all caught up. Thanks.
Wow. Um. So Jesus Christ.
I know.
lose my
I'm
fucking
so
train of thought.
sorry.
Holy shit.
I am naturally blonde. You know that, right? Well, we were talking about people,
But
and I was just
but
thinking, which one's the big fella?
it all started with Bigfoot for me with this
Yeah.
whole thing. And when I see things now, like, and I'm not at all trying to shit on Matt by saying this. I look at like what he's doing. He's just literally just going with it.
Right.
Like, and knowing like how he feels about certain things, it's a little hard to swallow, but at the same time, I look at his view counts and go, "Hey, good on you, man."
Right. He's evolving with what he's got to work with,
and he's not
given-
and he's not wrong. Like, I listened to him. Steve Alcorn and him were on another show talking about the Norm Glasser footage or picture or whatever.
I never went and watched that. I meant to.
And you know, Matt had said, you know, I tried going down that road of calling shit out, because I guess that woman was doing that sort of thing, and he was like, "Good luck to you." And I don't blame him for that,
Right.
at all. Like, I don't begrudge him. Like, you know, do your thing, man.
It's a logical
Like-
strategy.
Yeah, sure. I can't.
Right.
Like, I have to be who I am. If I'm not, then I'm not being fucking true to me. So I couldn't I can't not call this bullshit out for what it is.
Yeah.
But if there's something out there that's interesting, I'll also say it's really fucking interesting. Like I said, we looked at the Freeman footage tonight. I will probably, I don't think anybody's ever going to come out and really truly make me feel like that's shit.
Right.
The Grays Harbor thermal footage. That I really like that footage. Really like
It's good.
it. Really fucking like it. That's all I'm gonna say. The Barcatino thermal, the Sierra footage. I want to like it. Let me put it that way. I want to like it.
I want to like all of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah. Like you have to look at things rationally. And I'm not saying you have to look at things skeptically. I think skeptical thinking leads to skepticism.
Sure.
I think you have to look at things with an open mind and allow yourself to be skeptical.
Yeah.
But where this all leads, I don't fucking know. I mean, paper mache fucking aliens. That's what we get this week. That's what we get. That's what we get. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show and you're watching on YouTube and or Twitter, please go over and subscribe to the podcast over on Spotify. There's a big long thing there at the bottom. But just go on Spotify and search out the Fortean Files, and you'll find the fucking show. If you're watching on Twitter or you only listen to the podcast, subscribe to us on YouTube over at youtube.com/at the Fortean Files. That's youtube.com/the at symbol TheForteanFiles. And you can follow us over on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck that thing's called now, at Fortean Files. Yeah, and next week we will be back with another show for you. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until that time, be good to one another. Go out and hug somebody. Preferably somebody that isn't gonna claim that you assaulted them.
Yeah, not just a random stranger without any context. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a creep.
Be good to one another. Yeah. Don't try to give somebody a reach around. It's not what we're saying. I don't want anything misconstrued. Just be good to people. We'll see you next week.